Anything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
The Chapel Project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the Bass Mansion will be able to communicate with each other architecturally.
Parkview Sports Medicine, especially since I've been a pro, has been a place where my game has really been able to develop in multiple facets. Injury prevention, maintenance, physical therapy, weightlifting, agility work, all the things that I need to do in order to have an NBA body. This is the place for me to go when I come back home and I need to get a workout in. Always welcome me back with open arms.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Catholic University must have a passion for truth, and we trust in both the power of faith and the power of reason. Both come from God. May God bless this university as it continues to pursue truth on the wings of faith and reason.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen, and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
I chose St. Francis because they made a promise that I would have real-world experience that I could take when I graduated, and they delivered on that promise. For me, the classroom only gets you so far, so they're setting me up with an internship. I had a mentor that they set me up with that was a CEO of a DuPont hospital in Fort Wayne. They offer degrees in accounting, business administration, risk management and insurance, marketing, and finance. They just did a great job of the full circle of not only the education but also the experience.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team.
I mean, I always had my family behind me, I always had my team behind me, but to have staff that wanted the best for me and to get me feeling better the quickest was really reassuring.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Blood flow restriction training is a new treatment technique we're using at Parkview Sports Medicine that helps us stay on the cutting edge. This type of training is not only new to Parkview Sports Medicine, but in physical therapy as a whole. And it's really gaining popularity because it solves one of the fundamental problems that we see in therapy. We have a lot of patients who we can't put a lot of stress through their injured tissue, but we still want them to get stronger and still want them to gain muscle size. Blood flow restriction training uses a specialized piece of equipment, a blood flow restriction cuff that fits around the upper portion of an arm or a leg. Doing that, then it partially restricts, but not totally occludes the blood flow going to the limb.
I thought it was gonna hurt, and it does kind of feel weird, but doesn't hurt or anything. I just didn't really know what to expect. Well, you put it on and then you have to lay down and let it calibrate. And it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then after that, get in your position to do your workout and then press the inflate button and it'll squeeze your leg or your arm.
What the research is telling us about training with blood flow restriction is that The buildup of the lactic acid and the metabolic stress that we're putting on these tissues helps you gain strength and muscle size, similar to that of training at high intensity.
Compared to like a normal workout, the burn comes like within the third rep, and then the 30-second break in between, there's no like recovery. I can see the difference and feel the difference. It feels a lot more effective than just doing normal exercises.
Blood flow restriction training is the perfect tool to solve that fundamental problem. But this is something that you don't see everywhere, and you don't see very many places in Indiana at all.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
This is the first time I've been able to do this kind of more complete understanding or view of your body. One of the things that's really important about this is that it's kind of legitimizing us as athletes.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Hutzel Athletic Center for today's home opener for Crossroads League action for your Lady Cougars. St. Francis did drop their first Crossroads League game on the road a week ago at Spring Arbor, losing it 70-57. Today, St. Francis will take on its closest Crossroads League rival in Huntington University for the first of two meetings this season. The Foresters are 7-2 overall, but on the hunt for their first win in Crossroads League action after losing their opener 73-64 to NAIA number 4 ranked Marian University on November the 20th. That was at Platt Arena. Huntington led 54-43 after 3 quarters, but Marian charged back for the Crossroads League opening win by outscoring the Foresters 30-10 in the fourth quarter. USF dropped a 13-point decision at Spring Arbor to open the Crossroads League schedule. As we stated earlier, in that game, Kara Gurka and Emma Applegate both had 15 points apiece. Last Saturday, USF gave number 9 Indiana Tech a good battle before the Warriors pulled out a 75-68 decision here at the Hut. McBriar bounced back from a 4-point game at Spring Arbor on Tuesday with a 25-point game on Saturday. She came within a point of tying or passing her career high of 26 against Mount Vernon Nazarene, and that was in February of 2017, which was her freshman season. Looking at some of the projected starters for tonight's game, starting with Huntington, it's Maddie Riker. Riker is a senior averaging 13 points per game. Last year she was a third-team All-Crossroads League performer. She does rank number 47 in the country with 19 three-pointers made. Next is Sarah Doy, the freshman at 5'5". She's averaging 7.4 points per game. Erin Moore, a junior at 5'10". The forward, Sarah Fryman. Fryman last year was also All-Crossroads League third team, and she ranks number 2 in the country, shooting 93% from the free throw line. She also ranks number 24 in the country with 22 steals and number 41 in the country with 136 total points. And rounding out the starting lineup for Huntington will be number 32, Brooke Saylor, a 5'11" senior, averaging 9.3 points per game. Last year, Brooke was a second-team All-Crossroads League performer. And another player that was All-Crossroads League last year was Sam Hamill for Huntington. She's a sophomore this year out of Anderson, Indiana, Pendleton Heights High School. But going back to Saylor, she ranks number 22 in the country with 81 rebounds this year and number 35 in the country with 10 blocks. For St. Francis, it starts with the point guard, number 20, Savannah Buck, a 5'6" junior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Homestead High School. The Lady Spartans, who were the state champions 2 years ago, this year has one of the top teams in Class 4A in the state as well. So Savannah Buck, she's a 3-year starter at point guard. She ranks number 11 in the country with 44 assists under her belt, averaging 4.9 assists per game. She also has a team best 15 steals on the season. Number 5, Sydney Crow, a 5'9" sophomore. Sydney's averaging 6.3 points per game while shooting 41% from the field and 27% from beyond the arc. She also averages 2.9 rebounds per game. Number 10, Lauren McBriar. She's a redshirt sophomore, averaging 8 points per game. She's a 5'7" guard for St. Francis, really plays the 3 position. But Lauren McBriar, we talked about her earlier with her big performance against Indiana Tech. She always steps up in the big games. Her freshman year, it was between her and Kara Gurka for the Crossroads League Freshman of the Year. Savannah Buck was right up there as well. And Kara Gurka ended up taking the honor. But McBriar last year with a knee injury right before the season started, sat out the whole year. And now she is back, coming off her best game of the season, a 25-point performance against Indiana Tech. Number 21 is Kara Gurka, who last year was an All-American. Kara's 5'10" junior, averaging 13.9 points per game. Once again, last year she was All Crossroads League first team. She was the Freshman of the Year her freshman year and was All-American last year. Gurka ranks number 21 in the country, shooting 54% from the field. She has 125 points on the season, which is second best for St. Francis, behind Emma Applegate. Applegate has 132 points, which ranks her number 47 in the country. And Applegate's also shooting 89% from the free throw line, which ranks her at number 11 in the country. Applegate is not listed as a starter here in the game day program. That'll go to number 31, Whitney Will, a 6-foot sophomore, averaging 4 points per game. Whitney is from Fort Recovery, Ohio, went to Fort Recovery High School. So a very intriguing battle here. Once again, both teams are looking for their first conference win of the season. St. Francis dropping it to Spring Arbor, and Huntington falling to Marian University, who fell from number 4 to number 6 in the most recent poll on November the 27th. St. Francis did move out of the top 25, previously at number 14, now receiving votes in the 31st position. Huntington does jump into the polls. They're now ranked number 24 with their 7-2 overall record. Indiana Wesleyan has dropped from number 15 to 21. They're sitting with a 6-4 record. And Taylor University rose up 9 spots from 19 to 10 with an 8-3 overall record. Speaking of Taylor, they are taking on Marian today in what should be a very, very good game in Indianapolis. Taylor has one of the top players in the country in Kendall Bradbury, who can do just about everything. She can play in the low post and also hit the triple for the Lady Trojans. Another really good matchup today is Indiana Wesleyan at Mount Vernon Naz. Mount Vernon is 7-1 overall and 1-0 in conference play. And Bethel and Goshen. Bethel 6-3 overall, 1-0. You will see Bethel here next Saturday at the Hut. Goshen also with a turnaround season so far this year. They are 6-3 overall, 0-1 in conference play. So this past weekend, Spring Arbor did lose to Alma, a Division III school out of Michigan. Marian lost to Kaiser out of Florida, 67-68. And Taylor beat Rio Grande out of Ohio, 86-78. So we're just moments away from the start of today's game. And we're going to start with the national anthem and starting lineups and a brief prayer here from our PA announcer here at the Hutzel Athletic Center. Next week, we will have the men's basketball team hosting Indiana Wesleyan on Tuesday, the women hosting Wesleyan on Wednesday, and then our doubleheader next Saturday, December the 8th, against Bethel College, women tipping off at 1 p.m. and the men at 3 p.m. And the Cougar football team, ranked number 8 in the country, made it all the way to the semifinal game that'll take place this Saturday, 1 p.m. in Sioux City, Iowa, against the number 1 ranked team in the country, Morningside, the Mustangs. We're going to send it down to our PA announcer. So your starting lineup for Huntington goes Maddie Riker, Aaron Moore, Sarah Fryman, Sam Hamill, and Brooke Saylor. Now for the Lady Cougars. Number 5, Sydney Crow, the sophomore from Greenwood, Indiana, Whiteland High School. Number 10, Lauren McBriar, hoping for another hot performance from McBriar, the sophomore from Mooresville. Number 20, Savannah Buck, the point guard. Number 21, Kara Gurka. And number 31, Whitney Will. Head coach for the University of St. Francis is Jason Ridge in his 4th season with the Lady Cougars. Lori Collier is the head coach at Huntington University, and she is in her 33rd season. She's a 1986 graduate for the Lady Foresters. Once again, leading scorers entering today's game for each team. Emma Applegate averaging 14.7 points per game, and Sam Hamill for Huntington averaging 18.3 points per game. And Sarah Fryman's going to hit the first free throw of the game as there must have been a technical foul with the scores book. I have seen that before. So that'll be 2-0 Huntington. And in the center, it's Whitney Will, along with number 32, Brooke Saylor, to tip it off. It's not 100% the way you want to start this game for St. Francis, but it is still young. 10 minutes here to start the first quarter, and possession going to go to the Lady Foresters. Running point is number 4, Maddie Riker, being guarded by Savannah Buck. Lady Cougars come out in a man-to-man defense. That's Whitney Will guarding number 12, Sarah Fryman. Fryman, just a junior, is from Huntington, Indiana, Huntington North High School. There with the elbow jumper, it rims out. Rebounded by Lauren McBriar. Fryman last year as a sophomore, third-team All-Crossroads League performer. McBriar on the far wing, being guarded by Riker, the point guard. Crow, jump stop in the lane. That will not rim in. Rebounded by number 20 for Huntington, Sam Hamill. Hamill loses the dribble, picks it right back up for the Lady Foresters. Fryman's been a player for Huntington ever since her freshman year. Good pick up there nearby as the jumper is good for Erin Moore. 4-0 run to start this game for Huntington. Will. Little hesitation there. Loose ball is going to squirt out to Sydney Crow, who's driving out of the corner. Left-hand dribble drive gives it up for Gurka for 3 off the mark. Kara Gurka entering today's game shooting 32% from beyond the arc, hitting 6 of 19 three-pointers. Gurka has just been fantastic throughout her career here at the University of St. Francis. Gurka is from Fishers, Indiana, Fishers High School. She's a 5', 10-inch forward. Had to play center her freshman year, but the Cavalry came in last year and she got a little bit of help. Emma Applegate, along with Whitney Will, provide some really good size down there on the low post. Nice rebound by Will, keeping possession to St. Francis. Fresh 30 on the shot clock. Gurka down low. Scoop shot is good. And that is where Gurka is so good, finishing around the cup. Cougars down 4-2. Gurka looking for the three-point play. Kara Gurka is just savvy and knows how to get it done. So Kara Gurka with the first 3 points as the Lady Cougars pull within 1. St. Francis now with the full court press as the inbounds pass. Nice behind the back dribble there by Sam Hamill. Fryman just a little bit too happy there with the feet. They're gonna say that she stepped on the sideline, so not a traveling call. 7:46. Huntington with 1 foul, the only foul in this game so far. Remember, the fouls do reset after every quarter. Will was walled off, now setting the pick for Crow. Far wing is Savannah Buck looking down low. Skip pass goes to McBriar. McBriar with the fake. Now the drive, throws it up off the heel, no good. And a fight for the ball, Saylor and Will. And it'll be a jump ball, possession arrow in favor of St. Francis. So that'll be possession arrow in favor of the Lady Foresters. Crow here on the near wing. Steps back behind the triple line. The Cougars been playing beyond the perimeter. A long three-pointer. Left rim's no good and out of bounds. .709. It'll be Riker to inbound it for Huntington. Bounce pass goes to Saylor. Ladies playing fundamentally sound here for Huntington. They've enjoyed a lot of success throughout the past few seasons. As Emma Applegate now off the bench for the Lady Cougars. Riker, hesitation, baseline jumpers, no good. Rebounded by Will. Will down low, heavily contested defense by Saylor. So we're going the other direction with it. Hesitation dribble, looking to pop out off glass, and the bucket's good for number 20, Sam Hamill. Banks it off glass to extend that lead to 3 for the Lady Foresters. And they're going to call a foul. It's going to go on number 5, Aaron Moore. So Emma Applegate's going to check in now for Whitney Will. Last year, Fryman led Huntington in scoring with 14 points. Saylor and Riker right behind as Sydney Crow hits it off glass to pull St. Francis 2. Within 1. 6-5 is your score. Year before that, Huntington's Miranda Palmer, who I believe is the program's all-time leading scorer, led their team in scoring. That was during this 2016-2017 season. Lady Foresters 15-16 that year, 8-10 overall. Last year, 9-9 overall. And hoping to improve upon that this year. Inbounds pass goes to Riker. Of course, St. Francis did make the national tournament all the way to the Crossroads League Championship game 2 years ago when a lot of these girls were freshmen. Savannah Buck, Kara Gurka, Lauren McBriar. But last year without McBriar really hurt the Lady Cougars. And now this year, St. Francis is going to have to play the rest of the year without Lindley Kistler. Kistler's last game was against Point Park out of Pennsylvania on November the 16th when she had 10 points. So Kistler, a 6-foot junior, was quite the presence for St. Francis. Bounce pass down low. Picked up by Emma Applegate with the steal. Far wing, that's Savannah Buck. Buck can also hit the 3 ball. Once again, nationally ranked in assist. Nice strong take as a scoop shot is good by Sydney Crow, who now has back-to-back buckets for St. Francis. His Lady Cougars take the lead 7-6. St. Francis last year finishing with a 9-9 record in the Crossroads League, 17-14 overall. Lady Cougars. So the possession will stay with Huntington as that was Fryman down low. There's a fresh 30 on the shot clock. It's like Taylor and Marion are currently tied at 2 in the first quarter. Nice jump stop in the Euro step for number 32, Brooke Saylor, as the lay-in is good. Huntington takes back the lead at 8-7. Applegate double team down on the block. That left Gurka wide open for 3. As that ball is going to rim out for Gurka. Marion University playing in their newly renovated gym down in Indy. 3-pointer out of the corner is no good. Saylor tracking it down, and they're going to say that was last touch by the Lady Cougars. Whitney Will going to check into the game for Gurka. Lady Cougars now with 2 6-footers on the floor, along with Dejanay Hinton. Hinton is a sophomore guard out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Snyder High School. Bounce pass down to Fryman. Knocked away by Will, but picked up by number 30. That's Casey Morton. Riker now already 0 of 1 from beyond the arc. Hands it off to number 11, Erica Zook. Zook amongst the trees down low was triple team. Found the wide open shooter. That was Morton, who misses on the 3-ball attempt. Blocking foul going to go against the University of St. Francis. Number 20, Savannah Buck, her first, team second. Riker, left hand take, nice bounce pass down low to Fryman for the easy deuce. So Fryman, who hit the 2 free throws to start this game. Gets her first bucket from the field. She has 4 points. Currently, it's a 4-0 run by Huntington. Buck 4-3, spotting up. Savannah reigns it home as the Lady Cougars tied up at 10. Cannot leave Savannah Buck that open. She'll burn you every time. Savannah Buck can catch fire too from downtown. Riker, same spot, misses. Rebounded by Applegate. So Riker now 0 of 2 from beyond the arc and 0 of 3 from the field. Hinton going down to Applegate. Zone defense being played by Huntington as Emma Applegate was double teamed. Fryman takes a pass and in transition spin move goes off glass. Her 6th point of the game. Fryman listed at 5'9". You can see she's very comfortable playing on the block. So we got a timeout called by Huntington University. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll check some of the other scores from around the Crossroads League. Grace is on top of Spring Arbor 18-14. Grace entering that game 5-5 overall, 0-1 in Crossroads League play. Bethel, wow, they're in the third quarter already at Bethel. Not sure if that's game 1 of a doubleheader there, but it's 62-53, Bethel on top of Goshen. Bethel's got a new coach. Shouldn't say new, he's been with the team for 2 years now. It's Eric Gingrich, and he's doing a good job rebuilding that once proud program. I believe they've had some budget cuts there at Bethel, and a lot of the teams are hit hard outside of men's basketball. As the three-pointer is good for Sydney Crow, who now has 7 points, a team high. Back-to-back three-pointers for the Lady Cougars, who are up 13-12. First Savannah Buck, now Sydney Crow. Fryman takes the bounce pass. She's double-teamed in the lane, loses dribble. And we got a jump ball. Possession arrow is in favor of Huntington. Did they call a foul there? So I must have missed that one. Maybe a traveling called on Fryman on the floor. Picking up her pivot foot. McBriar Hinton out of the corner. Nice dribbling skills by Hinton going behind the back and through the legs. She is fouled as she's dazzling down there on the floor. Foul goes against number 5, Aaron Moore. That would be, it goes against Riker, her first and the team's third. Long inbounds goes up to Hinton. That was Savannah Buck on the trigger. McBriar walled off. Hesitation, dribble drive. Scoop shot's no good. With the rebound, that was Zook. Zook is just a freshman guard out of Millersburg, Indiana, went to Fairfield High School. The Fairfield Falcons. Handoff there went to number 22. That's Sarah Doy. She's a freshman guard from Granger, Indiana, Penn High School. 7 seconds, 6 now on the shot clock. And ref's going to call a foul on Whitney Will. So for Whitney, that'll be her first and the team's third. Inbounds pass. We got 30 seconds on the shot clock. All the way to the backcourt as Riker tracks it down. Newly into the game now for St. Francis is Alexis Thorben, who's guarding Riker. Lady Cougars in a zone defense as Dejanay Hinton comes up with the steal. Hinton now steps on the sideline to turn it over for the Lady Cougars. St. Francis first turnover of the game. Huntington with 3 under their belt. Crow's going to check in to give Savannah Buck a breather. Doy with the inbound. Inside 1 minute to play. St. Francis holding the 1 point lead as Fryman has it ripped away. And I think they're going to call a foul on Fryman trying to recover the ball. That'll be her first and the team's fourth. Fast moving first quarter here at the Hutzel Athletic Center. Crow. We have about 11-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. McBriar working off the pick by Thorburn. And the blocking foul is going to go against Alexis. That'll be her first, team's fourth. Shot clock is off with 27 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Riker is going to dribble this clock down here to get the last shot off of the first quarter. Taking that shot with plenty of time left on the clock. That was number 30, Casey Morton, with the long three-point attempt. Now Thorburn throws it up from half court. No good, so St. Francis will take the 13-12 lead into the second quarter. You're watching Lady Cougar basketball here from the Hutzel Athletic Center in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
The first time I've been able to do this kind of more complete understanding or view of your body. One of the things that's really important about this is that it's kind of legitimizing us as athletes.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen, and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
And we are back here at the Hutzel Athletic Center where the Lady Cougars lead it 13-12 over the Lady Foresters. In the lane, that's Sailor. Riker's wide open out of the corner. Late recovery there for Savannah Buck, but that was enough to get that shot off the mark. It'll be Applegate now at the inbounds. As Buck brings it over the timeline. Crow to Will. Lady Foresters right now in a man-to-man defense. And called with the hand check will be number 22. Sarah Doy, her first and the team's first here in the second quarter. Applegate here on the near wing. Emma has yet to score in this game, was the first player off the bench for St. Francis. She's been a starter a majority of the season, does lead the Lady Cougars in points per game at 14.7. Three-point attempt by Savannah Buck, knocks it down. Savannah's second three-pointer of the game. That'll give the Cougars the 16-12 lead. Last 3 buckets for St. Francis have all been three-pointers. Bounce pass goes into Saylor. Three-point attempt, top of the key. Right rim's no good for Sam Hamill. McBriar with the rebound. Another three-pointer, that time by Applegate, no good. Look at Savannah Buck there from 12 feet out going for the rebound. That was enough to keep that ball alive for St. Francis. Savannah Buck does come from a basketball family. And she is as savvy as they come. Foul's going to go against number 20, Sam Hamill. That'll be her first, team second. Traveling called on McBriar. Another turnover for the Lady Cougars. Their third of the game, 4 currently for Huntington. St. Francis is 3 of 8 from beyond the arc, shooting 38%, and 6 of 15 from the field, shooting 40%. Huntington is 0 of 7 from three-point land. Foul this time is going to go against Applegate. She's not 100% sure what's going on with that one. Her first, team's first. Riker being guarded by Gurka all the way top of the key. 14-foot jumper off the mark, rebounded by Buck. Applegate Crow's open out of the corner. Three-pointer is good for Sydney Crow. Her second three-pointer of the game. 19-12, Lady Cougars currently on a 9-0 run. All three-pointers, Crow, Buck, and Crow. Huntington trying to stop the bleeding, but Gurka comes up with the rebound. That ball tipped out of bounds. Possession to stay with St. Francis. 23 seconds on the shot clock. Fryman's going to check back in for Casey Morton, the senior. Near wing, that's Gurka. Fryman with the defense on Gurka. Buck, left-handed dribble drive, kicks back out to Applegate. 5 seconds on the shot clock, and a foul going to be called on number 32, Brooke Saylor. That'll be her first, or excuse me, her second and the team's third. So Sydney Crow will shoot 2, as the first one is good. Sydney on the season, a 53% free throw shooter, hitting 9 of 17. But that will help the average. Chandler Jones and Whitney Will now to check in for Kara Gurka and Emma Applegate. Sydney Crow now at the last 5 points for St. Francis, who ballooned the lead 21-12. Ooh, nice trap at half court. Nearly over and back. 3-point attempt. That one's going to right rim, no good, to Savannah Buck. Now the Lady Cougars. That pass by McBriar was knocked away and chased down by, I believe that was Saylor for Huntington. No, it was number 22, Doy. Sarah Doy is averaging 28.1 minutes played per game. It's pretty good as a freshman. And 7.4 points per game. Timeout going to be called by Huntington. Another 30-second timeout by the Lady Foresters. Let's see what's going on at Mount Vernon Nazarene University, where Indiana Wesleyan and the Cougars are battling. Wesleyan's up 27-20. In that game, Taylor Gregory leads Mount Vernon with 11 points. And Margaret Woter leads Indiana Wesleyan with 11. It's a nice arena over there at Mount Vernon Naz. They do a good job with their sports productions. And we'll check back in on that game later. At Bethel, 73-64. Lady Pilots on top of the Maple Leafs. Grace beating Spring Arbor 33-16. 6:40 left to play here in the second. That'll be Savannah Buck with the inbounds pass. McBriar feeds Will, trying to get around. Nice block shot there by Casey Morton. Morton holding her ground on the block. McBriar now out the defense. Riker gives it back up. That's Morton. Fans looking for the travel as Riker gets it back. Jumpers off the mark. Nice strip by Savannah Buck. But getting the ball back, that was number 20, Sam Hamill. So Hamill is going to stop the run there by St. Francis. And that was a Cougar run of 11 points. St. Francis was down 12-10 before going up 21-12. Hamill now has 4 points. Off the bench for the Lady Foresters is Erica Zook, as she's going to check back in. Zook has yet to take a shot in this one. Dejanay Hinton going to check in for the Lady Cougars. Dejanay does have 1 assist so far in this game. Buck's going to go up top to McBriar. McBriar also crafty on the ball. Still working out the kinks of that knee injury. Hitting in the lane. Finds Buck. Nice ball movement to the wide open McBriar as that 3-point shot's just a little bit long. Saved by Chandler Jones. Nice heads up play by Whitney Will. Yeah, Lady Forester, Casey Morton saying she got popped in the eye there. Should have been a foul. And Lori Collier sticking up for her teammate. Still no foul by the official. No foul called, I should say. Hamill. Right-hand dribble drive, the crossover. Finds a wide open Sarah Fryman down low. So that's back-to-back buckets now for Huntington, down by 5, 21-16. Majority of that run happened with Fryman on the bench. McBriar, right-hand dribble drive off glass. That one's too strong. Rebounded by Chandler Jones, and another jump ball. This time, possession arrow in favor of St. Francis. Chandler Jones going to check out as Gurka checks back into the game. Buck looking to go up top, finds Will. Savannah being forced to her right. She'll have no problems with that as McBriar retreats. Savannah, long three-pointer. Knocks it down from 24 feet. Savannah Buck, her third triple of the game. They'll extend the lead to 8 points for the Cougars. Savannah is now 3 of 4 from three-point land, 9 points. Huntington still has yet to hit a three-pointer. They're 0 of 8. Fryman, baseline jumper, no good. Tracked down her own shot, but Kara Gurka beat her to the punch. Gurka falling in the lane there. Drew the contact from Fryman. Now the floater by Buck, too strong. That was Doy that came down with the rebound. Hamill in the lane, had it knocked away from behind. Wide open three-point shot. That one left rim's no good by Doy. Huntington flat out cannot buy a three-pointer in this game. 0 of 9 now from the field. Scoop shot, no good by Hinton. Gets her own rebound. That one dribbled off her shin. Fryman and 2 Lady Foresters collaborated for that loose ball pickup. Now the other way, Hamill has it knocked away by McBriar. Last touched by Sam Hamill. Applegate and Crow going to check back into the game. McBriar and Will check out. .324 left here in the first half, 24-16. Your Lady Cougars on top. St. Francis took over that lead as the bucket is good by Emma Applegate, her first of the game. Baseline jumper. Too far by Fryman. The back rim's no good. Lady Cougars taking control of this game late in the first quarter. Had the lead 13-12, and then just exploded to start the second quarter. Buck, three-pointer. Off the heel, no good. That is tracked down by Hamill for the Lady Foresters. Loose ball out to number 30, Morton, for three. That one left short. Saved by Fryman, goes right to Gurka. Emma Applegate in the lane. She's fouled. Will head to the free throw line to shoot two. Foul will go against Casey Morton. That'll be her first and the team's fourth. So Applegate, who had the last 2 points for St. Francis. Hits the first. So Applegate now with 4 points after knocking down both of those free throws. As the Lady Cougars have their largest lead of the game at 28-16. 12-point advantage. Fryman down low. The bunny is no good. Huntington is just struggling from the field right now, shooting under 30%. St. Francis 9 of 25 shooting from the field at 36%. But once again, Huntington 0 of 10 from beyond the arc. Cougars 5 of 12. 3 of those by Savannah Buck, the other 2 by Sydney Crow. Jump ball called, possession arrow in favor of St. Francis. McBriar takes it at half court. Looking to draw contact, scoop shot no good. Thorburn trying to save it, goes right to Riker. Riker leading the break. Fryman going to go straight to the cup, is fouled and cannot finish. Foul's going to go against Applegate, her second, team second. First one's no good. Fryman not used to missing those free throws. That's just her third miss on the season. She has currently hit 29 of 32. Gurka now checks in. Second free throw for Fryman. She and the Lady Foresters have just been flat cold as she misses both of them. And once again, she's a 93% free throw shooter. Now 2 of 4 from the free throw line in this game. Now Fryman called with the foul, so the wheels are coming off here for the Lady Foresters. Gurka now at the free throw line. First one is good. Kara's now perfect, 2 of 2 from the charity stripe. She had the bucket and one to start this game for St. Francis. Entering today, Kara is a 68% free throw shooter. Second one on its way. It too is good as Lady Cougar has hit the 30-point mark. Up 30-16, 14-point lead, their largest of the game. With 1:11 left to play in the first half. Nice feed down low. Bucket is good. Number 41, that's Cindy Groen. That's Crow, who already has 2 3-pointers. In the lane, kicks out, Hinton. Right-handed take, throws it up, and the putback is good for Whitney Will. That last bucket by Groen snapped an 8-0 run by St. Francis. So 2 big runs in this game for the Lady Cougars. Put St. Francis with a 14-point advantage just inside the arc. That's an air ball, which will leave 3.5 seconds on the clock. Savannah Buck checking back in. Gurka checks in for Will. That'll be Thorban, Alexis Thorban on the trigger. McBriar. Lauren's going to get the shot. They're going to say the shot's no good. So that will do it for the first half action. St. Francis up 32-18. We'll take a break and be with you right before the start of the second half. You're watching Lady Cougar basketball here from the Hutzel Athletic Center in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream, and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
The Chapel Project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the Bass Mansion will be able to communicate with each other architecturally.
Especially since I've been a pro, has been a place where my game has really been able to develop in multiple facets. Injury prevention, maintenance, physical therapy, weightlifting, agility work, all the things that I need to do in order to have an NBA body. This is the place for me to go when I come back home and I need to get a workout in. Always welcome me back with open arms.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Catholic University must have a passion for truth, and we trust in both the power of faith and the power of reason. Both come from God. May God bless this university as it continues to pursue truth on the wings of faith and reason.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
I chose St. Francis because they made a promise that I would have real-world experience that I could take when I graduated, and they delivered on that promise. For me, the classroom only gets you so far, so they're setting you up with an internship. I had a mentor that they set me up with that was a CEO of a DuPont hospital in Fort Wayne. They offer degrees in accounting, business administration, risk management and insurance, marketing, and finance. They just did a great job of the full circle of not only the education but also the experience.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team.
I mean, I always had my family behind me, I always had my team behind me, but to have staff that wanted the best for me and to get me feeling better the quickest was really reassuring.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Blood flow restriction training is a new treatment technique we're using at Parkview Sports Medicine that helps us stay on the cutting edge. This type of training is not only new to Parkview Sports Medicine, but in physical therapy as a whole. And it's really gaining popularity because it solves one of the fundamental problems that we see in therapy. We have a lot of patients who we can't put a lot of stress through their injured tissue, but we still want them to get stronger and still want them to gain muscle size. Blood flow restriction training uses a specialized piece of equipment, a blood flow restriction cuff that fits around the upper portion of an arm or a leg. Doing that, then it partially restricts, but not totally occludes the blood flow going to the limb.
I thought it was gonna hurt, and it does kind of feel weird, but doesn't hurt or anything. I just didn't really know what to expect. Well, you put it on and then you have to lay down and let it calibrate, and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then after that, get in your position to do your workout and then press the inflate button and it'll squeeze your leg or your arm.
What the research is telling us about training with blood flow restriction is that the buildup of the lactic acid and the metabolic stress that we're putting on these tissues helps you gain strength and muscle size similar to that of training at high intensity.
Compared to a normal workout, the burn comes within the third rep, and then the 30-second break in between, there's no recovery. I can see the difference and feel the difference. It feels a lot more effective than just doing normal exercises.
Blood flow restriction training is the perfect tool to solve that fundamental problem. This is something that you don't see everywhere, and you don't see very many places in Indiana at all.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
This is the first time I've been able to do this kind of more complete understanding or view of your body. One of the things that's really important about this is that it's kind of legitimizing us as athletes.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Training is a new treatment technique we're using at Parkview Sports Medicine that helps us stay on the cutting edge. This type of training is not only new to Parkview Sports Medicine, but in physical therapy as a whole. And it's really gaining popularity because it solves one of the fundamental problems that we see in therapy. We have a lot of patients who we can't put a lot of stress through their injured tissue, but we still want them to get stronger and still want them to gain muscle size. Blood flow restriction training uses a specialized piece of equipment, a blood flow restriction cuff that fits around the upper portion of an arm or a leg. Doing that, then it partially restricts, but not totally occludes the blood flow going to the limb.
I thought it was gonna hurt, and it does kind of feel weird, but doesn't hurt or anything. I just didn't really know what to expect. Well, you put it on and then you have to lay down and let it calibrate, and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then after that, get in your position to do your workout and then press the inflate button and it'll squeeze your leg or your arm.
What the research is telling us about training with blood flow restriction is that the buildup of the lactic acid and the metabolic stress that we're putting on these tissues helps you gain strength and muscle size, similar to that of training at high intensity.
Compared to a normal workout, the burn comes within the third rep, and then the 30-second break in between, there's no recovery. I can see the difference and feel the difference. It feels a lot more effective than just doing normal exercises.
Blood flow restriction training is the perfect tool to solve that fundamental problem. But this is something that you don't see everywhere, and you don't see very many places in Indiana at all.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Catholic University must have a passion for truth, and we trust in both the power of faith and the power of reason. Both come from God. May God bless this university as it continues to pursue truth on the wings of faith and reason.
Welcome back, everyone. We are just 2 minutes away from the start of the second half here. Looking at some of the first half stats, St. Francis Sidney Crow leads all scorers with 12 points. Savannah Buck has 9. She was 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. Crow was 2 of 2 from beyond the arc. Kara Gurka with 5 points. Emma Applegate with 4. And Whitney Will with 2. Will also had 4 rebounds to lead Lady Cougars. St. Francis shot 10 of 28 from the field, 36% shooting, and 5 of 12 from beyond the arc for 42%. A perfect 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Definitely the story in this game, though, is Huntington 0 of 10 from beyond the arc. Things not going well for the Lady Foresters as it's cold outside and cold here in the hut for the Lady Foresters. They are shooting 8 of 27 from the field, 29% shooting, and 2 of 4 from the free throw line. And that was all by Sarah Fryman, who started off the game hitting 2 free throws after a technical foul was called on the Lady Cougars before the tip even happened. And then Fryman later in the game shot 2 and missed them both. Lady Cougars, to end the first quarter and start the second quarter, went on 11-0 run before back-to-back layups by Huntington, and then an 8-0 run towards the second half of the second quarter really helped balloon this lead to 14 points, where St. Francis is sitting right now. So 32-18 is your score. Nobody in any real foul trouble. Fryman has 2 for Huntington. Saylor has 2. For St. Francis, just Emma Applegate with 2 fouls. As we start the third here, handling the rock for the Lady Foresters, that was number 20, just Sam Hamill. Hamill now right-handed take, throws it off the glass, no good, and that's going to be last touch by Fryman. Fryman is a hustler for Huntington. She and the rest of Lady Foresters, though, just could not hit a shot there in the second quarter. And definitely from three-point land. Full court press being put on by the Lady Foresters, and that's going to result in a turnover as 10-second violation is called on Will. Possession arrow is in favor of Huntington. But not so sure that's right. Should have switched over to St. Francis. Number 5, Aaron Moore, over to Riker. Maddie Riker is one of the top players for Huntington. She has 0 points after going 0 of 3 from beyond the arc and 0 of 5 from the field. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Fryman down low, triple team. Nice defense by McBriar, trying to get something going. Saylor throws up the loose ball, and that is a shot clock violation. So back-to-back turnovers by these squads to start the second half. Riker coming in, averaging 13 points per game while shooting 46% from the field. So this Lady Cougar defense really getting it done here at the Hut. McBriar for 3 off the heel, no good. Sydney Crow scoop shot, no good, but gets her own rebound before that deflects out of bounds. One minute and 20 seconds into the third quarter. As Will's able to knock that away from Moore. Possession to stay with Huntington, 23 seconds on the shot clock. Hamill has Fryman top of the key. Elbow jumper by Moore, no good. Rebounded Crow. That's off Sydney. Fresh 30 seconds on the shot clock. Neither team has yet to score here in the second half. How about that halftime score at Marion? If you're wondering what it was 39-29 with Taylor on top of the Marion University Knights. Of course, Marion last year graduated Jonah Suero. What a career she had for the Lady Knights. Not an easy player to replace. Point guard, and she was about as strong as they came in the Crossroads League. Crow being guarded by the big Brooke Saylor. So we got a zone defense here by Huntington. Will with the right hand. No good. Gurka gets the rebound. Putback is good. Kara Gurka. Kara Gurka had the first bucket of the game for St. Francis here with the first bucket of the second half for the Lady Cougars. Behind the back by Hamill, has it stolen by Will. Whitney Will once again out of Fort Recovery, Ohio. We have some phenomenal athletes from Fort Recovery, mostly on the volleyball team. Sydney Crow picking up where she left off with another triple, her third and her game high 15 points. Sydney Crow came to play today. 37-18. Lady Cougars currently right now on a 7-0 run. Riker's three-pointer left short. Buck for the Lady Cougars. Sydney Crow got Fryman on her back there. Didn't take a whole lot. Fryman was expecting the drive. For Crow, if she's open, you want her shooting the three ball. Will trying to work around Fryman as that pass was knocked out of bounds. Applegate's now going to check in for Whitney Will. Inbounds goes to Crow. Knocked away, but McBriar with the putback. Things are just rolling the Lady Cougars' way as Coach Lori Collier is going to have to take a full timeout. You're watching Lady Cougar basketball here from the Hutzel Athletic Center.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream, and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
The Chapel Project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the Bass Mansion will be able to communicate with each other architecturally.
Welcome back to the Hut with the inbounds pass. There will be Sarah Doy for Huntington. Doy checks in with 0 points so far in this game. Riker behind the back has her shot blocked by Crow. Possession to St. Francis. Big block there by Sydney Crow. Lady Cougars working well together. Up 39-18. McBriar working through this press as Lady Cougars break it. Crow feeds Applegate down low. Spins out. Applegate nearly got her own rebound and fight for the ball. It's going to be a jump ball. This time it is in favor of St. Francis. Looks like the arrow's just stuck on the HU, but it will be right this time around. Buck now with the inbounds. Bounce goes to Jones. Spin move, and they're going to call it travel. Happy feet for Chandler Jones. Chandler, whose brother Hayden Jones, now a junior, I believe, at East Noble. Man, is he a good basketball player. They lost a tight game to the Snyder Panthers yesterday in a Class 4A matchup there in Kendallville. But Hayden Jones, man, he's quite the specimen. He played a little bit of wide receiver for East Noble. Let's just say he's an athlete. Chandler, an athlete in her own sense, that's for sure, has that pass stolen. Other direction, drawing the contact. The bucket's good for number 11, Erica Zook. For Chandler, that'll be her first. That's going to end a 9-0 run for St. Francis. So Zook on the season, an 87% free throw shooter, knocks it down. That'll pull Huntington to within 18 points. Zook now with 3. Hinton, feed goes down low to Jones. Looking for Applegate, but that's going to result in a turnover. Little miscommunication for the Lady Cougars, their 8th turnover of the game. Huntington currently with 9. Huntington 0 of 11 from beyond the arc. St. Francis shooting 43% from three-point land, 6 of 14. Update from Mount Vernon Naz. It's Indiana Wesleyan up 50-33. Foul's going to go against Applegate. That'll be her 3rd, team 2nd. Bethel did get the win 84-75 against Goshen, and Grace beaten up on Spring Arbor 56-39. And that'll be a turnover. Stepping on the baseline for the Lady Foresters. Crow checks back in for McBriar. Lauren McBriar just 1 of 8 from the field, 0 of 3 from beyond the arc, 2 points. But the Lady Cougars have been so hot in this game, it's okay. Press that time works. Kicking going to be called on Buck. 29 seconds on the shot clock for Huntington. Huntington having some success with this press here in the third quarter. Fryman, three-pointer. She knew that was short, but she was the only Huntington Lady Forester to track that ball down. Everybody just had their feet in cement. Now there's a steal on Buck. Going the other way, a huge block by Chandler Jones. That was Erica Zook taking it up. Holy moly, we've seen some big blocks here in the third quarter. Crow and now Jones. That's Jade Clement, number 10, entering the game. She's a sophomore from Columbus Grove, Ohio. Riker, baseline jumper, no good. Fryman gets the rebound. Putback is no good. Foresters are not on fire. They're shooting under 25% from the field in this game. 9 of 36. Buck finds Jones, looking for Gurka, had it knocked right back to her. Crow for three, knocks it down. Sydney Crow on fire tonight, has a game high 18. Wow. For Sydney Crow, that's her second three-pointer here of the third quarter. Zook's shot's no good. Hinton was walled off there by Saylor. Crow uses the pump. Scoop shot, no good. Lady Cougars up by 21. Largest lead of the game right now for St. Francis. Driving baseline, Saylor had to pop out. No room. Possession to St. Francis. And foul is going to be called against Zook, the reach in on Crow. Tough matchup this Saturday for St. Francis. So Lady Cougars will travel to Marion to take on the number 6 Lady Knights. That's a 1 p.m. tip-off. Once again, this Saturday. That's part of a doubleheader as the men will be down there as well. So Crossroads League doubleheader, Marion University, the men ranked 8th and their women ranked 6th. Good times on that campus. Thorburn from the top of the key gets it over to Hinton with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Nice Euro. The lay-in's no good, and a jump ball going to be called. I believe the possession arrow is in favor of Huntington. That time the scoreboard is correct. McBriar checking in for Buck. So now we'll just have to remember it's opposite day on the scoreboard possession arrow. It's in favor of USF now. Riker. That's Clement, newly inserted into the game here in the third. And foul's going to be called against Alexis Thorburn, number 35. That'll be her second. Team's fourth here with 2 minutes left to play in the third. quick three-pointer. And the three-point shot is even cold for Clement. As foul's going to go against, I believe it's Dejanay Hinton, number 11. That'll be her second, team's fifth. 2 shots here as we go straight to the double bonus here in college women's basketball. First one's good for Zook. Zook has the last 4 points for Huntington, but they have been few and far between here in the third quarter. Second one's good as well for Zook. 42-23 is your score. Crow gets it in to, that's McBriar. Huntington once again doing a good job with this press as Thorbon will take it. Good defensive spacing here by Huntington. Once again, Hinton, she's going to be fouled by Saylor. Dejanay Hinton putting on a little bit of a show here for the crowd at the Hut as they're appreciating her ball handling skills and the quick step. For Hinton, this is her first trip to the charity stripe. Looking for her first point of the game as that one rims out. Hinton entering today is a 50% free throw shooter, hitting 4 of 8. Trying to keep that average alive here. Hitting number 2. Make here would put St. Francis up by 20, and it is good. 43-23 is your score. 1:37 left to play in the third. Saylor, left-handed take, was walled off there by Will. Will comes up. As McBriar coming up with the loose ball. Good defense here by the Lady Cougars all game long. Lady Cougars definitely getting some confidence this past Saturday in that Indiana Tech game. Tech has an 8-1 record. They are nationally ranked out of the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. They're the number 7th ranked team in the country. Their only loss is against Marion this year, and I believe that was an overtime loss. That was Saylor with the board. Riker, Fryman was looking for the pass, but probably about 5 seconds ago. She's fouled and will head to the free throw line. Fryman, a 93% free throw shooter, is 2 of 4 from the charity stripe. First one's good. So Sarah Fryman now with 10 points, the only Lady Forester in double digits. Zook going to be called with the bump on McBriar. Lady Foresters, they lost to Indiana Tech 81-61. St. Francis just a little bit closer on that score against the Warriors. They lost 75-68. Lady Cougars were leading a majority of that game too. That was last Saturday. We had a Cougar football game going on as the St. Francis football team won 33-23 over Baker. Baker ranked number 12 in the country. Cougars ranked number 8. McBriar throws up just a little bit strong as Hamill comes down with the board. Sam looking to go coast to coast. And she's fouled. We'll head to the free throw line. Shoot 2. Blocking called against Sydney Crow. So Sam Hamill, who's 2 of 9 from the field, 0 of 2 from beyond the arc with 4 rebounds, 2 assists, to shoot her first. And it's no good, left short. Huntington tried to build upon their 2-0 run. Second one rims in. Hamill entering today's game an 87% free throw shooter. Once again, the team's leading scorer at 18.3 points per game. But the Cougars lead it 43-26 after 3. We'll be right back with you. You're watching Lady Cougar basketball here from the Hutzel Athletic Center.
Restriction training is a new treatment technique we're using at Parkview Sports Medicine that helps us stay on the cutting edge. This type of training is not only new to Parkview Sports Medicine, but in physical therapy as a whole. And it's really gaining popularity because it solves one of the fundamental problems that we see in therapy. We have a lot of patients who we can't put a lot of stress through their injured tissue, but we still want them to get stronger and still want them to gain muscle size. Blood flow restriction training uses a specialized piece of equipment, a blood flow restriction cuff that fits around the upper portion of an arm or a leg. Doing that, then it partially restricts, but not totally occludes the blood flow going to the limb.
I thought it was gonna hurt, and it does kind of feel weird, but doesn't hurt or anything. I just didn't really know what to expect. Well, you put it on and then you have to lay down and let it calibrate, and it like gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then after that, get in your position to do your workout and then press the inflate button and it'll squeeze your leg or your arm.
What the research is telling us about training with blood flow restriction is that the buildup of the lactic acid and the metabolic stress that we're putting on these tissues helps you gain strength and muscle size, similar to that of training at high intensity.
Compared to like a normal workout, the burn comes like within the third rep, and then the 30-second break in between.
All right, we're back at the hut. Inbounds pass by Savannah Buck. That's McBriar with the ball working against Sam Hamill. Feed goes down low to Gurka. Gets the handle, but tips it right to, I believe that's number 30, Casey Morton. Fryman and Gurka going one-on-one as the bounce pass goes down. No good for Casey Morton, but she is fouled. I believe it's going to go against Emma Applegate, so that'll be her fourth. It'll be team's first here in the fourth quarter. I believe this is year number 3 now with the quarter system in collegiate women's basketball. I don't think I like it. Couldn't really tell you why. It's kind of used to the halves. Works fine, always did. They said the 4 quarters speeds up the game. I think the game's about the same as far as time's concerned. Guess you have one less media timeout per half. McBriar. Good movement around the perimeter for St. Francis. Sydney Crowe, she can really do no wrong in this game. She gets fouled, driving to the cup. Sydney has 18 points, 4 of 4 from beyond the arc, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. As the first one's good. So her free throw percentage keeps climbing. Second one off the heel, rebounded by Gurka. Gurka puts it back. Kara Gurka now with 9 points in this game. That ties her with Savannah Buck for her second best for St. Francis. Fryman trapped to half court. Gets it over to Hamill. Spin move down low and finds the bottom of the net. Another three-pointer by Sydney Crowe. She has 22 points. Crowe just on fire now, 5 of 5. 15 of those 22 coming from beyond the arc. 49-29 is your score. Riker steps back, but that is a long two-pointer. Rebounded by Gurka. Gurka going head-to-head with Fryman here in the second half as Lauren McBriar drains the triple. 52-29. That's going to result in a timeout, a 30-second timeout by Coach Lori Collier. Sydney Crow now with 22 points. Savannah Buck, Kara Gurka with 9. Now Lauren McBriar after that three-pointer, she has 5. Applegate has 4. Hinton with 1. And Whitney Will with 2 points. Other scores, Grace College up now 77-52. Remember, Bethel did beat Goshen. And Mount Vernon Naz climbing back into the game against Indiana Wesleyan, but they are down 63-52. Over at Marion, Taylor University's up 50-46. But the Knights have been closing the gap. 7:52 left to play here in the fourth. Bounce pass goes over to number 22, Doi. Right hand Hamill is walled off, double teamed. Gets out to Riker. Riker working off the pick by Saylor, goes the other direction. And now we got a foul going to be called on Kara Gurka. That'd be her second, team second. Excuse me, they called that on 31, Whitney Will. So for Will, that'll be her third, team second. And Riker just chucks that one up, but she is fouled. They're calling Whitney Will with the kick there is the official animated for us. First free throw for Riker is good. So first free throw of the game. Give her team 30. This is by far going to be probably the worst loss of the season for Huntington, even though that Indiana Tech loss was a 20-point loss. They lost to Marion 73-64 in 2 overtimes. But on this night, they just can't hit the shots. 0 of 14 from beyond the arc, 10 of 42 from the field, shooting 24%. Is the Huntington Lady Foresters. Do credit the University of St. Francis defense. Granted, neither team in the top 5 in scoring defense on the season. Cougars giving up 60 points a game. It does rank them number 39 in the country. Huntington's given up 61 points a game and ranks them number 40 in the country. Speaks to the strength of the Crossroads League. Nice strong take, Dejanay with the lay-in. Hinton going up strong. We've seen it all game long from her. Just a few of them haven't fallen. Crafty on the dribble, quick with the feet. Hamill, no good. Saylor can't get it to fall either, but does get her own rebound. I mean, it is cold here for the Foresters. Hamill behind the back, working against Hinton. Finds Riker in the corner. Fryman down low, but man, every single time Lady Foresters, as that's a steal by Buck, every single time they try to drive, a Lady Cougar there is there with the help team. Good stuff. Crow's going to check out. McBriar's back in. Alexis Turpin's back in. 6:10 left here in regulation. Cougars up comfortably, 54-31. 23-point ad. Hinton, three-pointer. That's going to left rim, out of bounds. Dejanay now 0 of 2 from beyond the arc. 1 of 6 from the field. Over the timelines, Hamill. Sam Hamill from Pendleton Heights High School out of Anderson, Indiana. As Fryman cannot hit the floater. Skip pass goes to McBriar for 3. Just shorts it. As Riker now in transition finds Fryman underneath. Fryman is fouled and will head back to the free throw line. Could not convert on the lay-in. Fryman, the team's leading scorer with 8 points, gets her 9th. Excuse me, that's her 11th. Still a team best. Will and Buck are going to check out. Emma Applegate back into the game with Crow. So Fryman, after missing 2 in a row, has hit 4 in a row. So she is now 6 of 8 from the free throw line. McBriar goes right through her hands. And foul's going to go against Hinton. Boy, I didn't see it. It looked like Doy had initiated the contact there. Even lowered his shoulder. But no, they'll call a foul on Hinton. So it's going to be Doy at the free throw line. As her first one is no good. It's her first free throw attempt of the game. On the season, a 68% free throw shooter for Sarah Doy. Second one does fall. 34-54 is your score. Hinton breaks the press. Thorburn down low is calling for the ball. Crow all the way at the timeline. Tightly guarded, and they're going to call a hook by Sydney Crow. Working against Fryman. .452 left here in the fourth quarter. Riker's three-pointer. I don't think the basketball gods are going to let Huntington make a three-pointer this game. 0 now of 15. Hinton double-teamed. Over to Thorburn. McBriar out of the corner for 3. Knocks it down. Lauren McBriar's on fire now with 8 points. Be a 23-point lead for the Lady Cougars. Three-pointer on its way. That one's left short by Doy. I think Huntington should take a three-pointer every single possession from here on out just to break this curse. I don't know if you want to go into the next game 0 of 15 from beyond the arc. Here's a good stat for you, though. Huntington entering today shooting 35% from beyond the arc, which ranks them number 19 in the NAIA. 80% from the free throw line ranks them number 6. 54 three-pointers made ranks them number 48 in the country. St. Francis has 62 three-pointers made, which ranks the Lady Cougars 33 in the country. 6.9 3-pointers per game. Gurka going to be called with the foul. And Huntington ranks number 17 in the country, shooting 44% from the field. They're just not doing that tonight. They're shooting 22% from the field and 0%, 0 of 16 from beyond the arc. First free throw attempt is up and in for Riker. The last 6 points for Huntington came from the free throw line. Lady Cougars up 57-35. Crow retreats back. Left hand take, walled off in the lane. That was Sam Hamill with the defense. Crow hits another three-pointer. Sydney now 6 of 6 in this game. Holy cow, Sydney Crow. Just like I was saying with Huntington needs to just shoot three-pointers, so does Sydney Crow. Fryman inside the arc. Long two-pointer. Savannah now on the far wing. Nice pick there by Applegate. McBriar reigns it home for her 11th point of the game. These two are going back and forth. Crow and McBriar knocking them down. Down low, that was Fryman with the putback. Last 3 possessions for St. Francis, it's been McBriar, Crow, McBriar three-pointers. Kind of like Crow, Buck, and Crow in the first half. That one from McBriar halfway down, rims out. Applegate with the putback, looking for the and one. Fryman's going to check out along with Saylor as we're inside 2 minutes to play. Applegate knocks it down. She's a perfect 3 of 3 from the charity stripe. Jones, Chandler back on the floor along with Shayna Temple as the 3 ball is good for Huntington's Sam Hamill. That's a big three-pointer entering in the next game. That breaks a 0 for 16 slump. Now 1 of 17. Jones going to be called with the foul. Now into the game for St. Francis is number 12, Tyon McKenzie. And she is fast. Hamill doing a good job of keeping her pivot foot. And foul's going to go against number 40, Treasure Hurst. Heading to the free throw line is Caleb Mallett, redshirt junior from Australia. Transferred to Huntington from Vincennes University. Remember back in the day we used to get a few transfers from Vincennes. Quite a few, actually. This first one's no good. I think the last Vincennes transfer we had was probably Jana Chukri. Very good shooter for the Lady Cougars. Her senior year was Coach Ridge's first year, I believe. That sounds right. Second one is good. (66-43). Lady Cougars have been cruising in this one, taking over the lead in the first quarter, 13-12 right before the end of the first quarter. Never looking back. Nice open look to number 15. That's Bree Cumberland. But definitely the player of this game is Sydney Crow. Just been on fire. It's Josie Kolkman with the defense for St. Francis as the jumper is good for Cindy Intergrone. Figure where's the shooting been for Huntington all game? Well, the Lady Cougars have emptied the bench. No starters currently on the floor for St. Francis. Cumberland gets it into McKenzie. Shot clock is off. We'll see if St. Francis does take another shot. About to win this game, 68-45. Kolkman down low as is swiped away by number 3, Michaela Avina. No, Huntington's looking to score. Turnaround baseline jumper is good by Intergrone. Her second straight bucket. But that should do it. The Lady Cougars will win it 68-47. Once again, your player of the game is Sydney Crow. 6 of 6 from beyond the arc, 8 of 12 from the field, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 25 points. Let's take another look at one of these triples. Her and McBriar just going back and forth here in the fourth quarter. But Crow wide open, just way too much cushion for a player that had already hit 5 3-pointers at that point. St. Francis shooting 43% from the field on 23 of 54 shooting, 50% from beyond the arc, 12 of 24. Definitely the story of this game, 1 of 17 shooting from beyond the arc for Huntington. So St. Francis will improve its record to 6-4 overall, 1-1 in the Crossroads League. Foresters fall to 7-3 overall, 0-2 in Crossroads League play. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. Until next Tuesday when the men host Indiana Wesleyan, my name is Jeff Mahoney, and on camera was Lucy Wainwright. Till next time, have a wonderful rest of the week.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream, and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
The Chapel Project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the Bass Mansion will be able to communicate with each other architecturally.
Parkview Sports Medicine, especially since I've been a pro, has been a place where my game has really been able to develop in multiple facets. Injury prevention, maintenance, physical therapy, weightlifting, agility work, all the things that I need to do in order to have an NBA body. This is the place for me to go when I come back home and I need to get a workout in. Always welcome me back with open arms.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Catholic University must have a passion for truth, and we trust in both the power of faith and the power of reason. Both come from God. May God bless this university as it continues to pursue truth on the wings of faith and reason.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
I chose St. Francis because they made a promise that I would have real-world experience that I could take when I graduated, and they delivered on that promise. For me, the classroom only gets you so far, so they're setting you up with an internship. I had a mentor that they set me up with that was a CEO of a DuPont hospital in Fort Wayne. They offer degrees in accounting, business administration, risk management and insurance, marketing, and finance. You know, they just did a great job of the full circle of not only the education but also the experience.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team.
I mean, I always had my family behind me, I always had my team behind me, but to have staff that wanted the best for me and to get me feeling better the quickest was really reassuring.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Blood flow restriction training is a new treatment technique we're using at Parkview Sports Medicine that helps us stay on the cutting edge. This type of training is not only new to Parkview Sports Medicine, but in physical therapy as a whole. And it's really gaining popularity because it solves one of the fundamental problems that we see in therapy. We have a lot of patients who we can't put a lot of stress through their injured tissue, but we still want them to get stronger and still want them to gain muscle size. Blood flow restriction training uses a specialized piece of equipment, a blood flow restriction cuff that fits around the upper portion of an arm or a leg. Doing that, then it partially restricts, but not totally occludes the blood flow going to the limb.
I thought it was gonna hurt, and it does kind of feel weird, but doesn't hurt or anything. I just didn't really know what to expect. Well, you put it on and then you have to lay down and let it calibrate, and it like gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then after that, get in your position to do your workout and then press the